Hello and welcome. I am Maestra Teacher and this is my 5th grade Oasis channel. I've been a teacher for more than 20 years and I've taught gen ed and bilingual classes. In today's video, we will talk about retaining students in 5th grade. If you are a new teacher or new to 5th grade, know that at the end of the school year, you will be asked the question by your principal or administration if you're planning to retain any students. To retain basically means that you're going to hold back a student in 5th grade with the hopes that by repeating the same material for another year, the student will become successful. However, studies have demonstrated, and from my own personal experience, I don't believe that retention is something that is beneficial to any student, especially in 5th grade. Maybe in the lower grades, when the kids are in 1st grade kinder, that they still don't grasp the concept of reading, for example, a lot of the lower grade teachers do tend to retain because they believe the students who cannot read should not be going forward. However, in our grade, 5th grade, I don't think it's beneficial at all. In 5th grade, there are basically 3 reasons why students can be retained. The first one is the most obvious, of course, is academic achievement. When a student is not able to demonstrate any growth, any academic achievement in 5th grade. For academic achievement, the first one that I mentioned, I don't think students should be retained for academic achievement, and let me explain myself. If a student is failing and you as a teacher know that your child or your student has been failing since day one, you should have taken the measures to address it from the first moment you realize the student is not basically performing. You should not wait until May to then decide, oh, little Johnny has been failing, I'm going to fail him, and that's the end. He should repeat the grade because he wasn't able to do what he was supposed to. No. You as a teacher have the task to make sure it's your job that that student succeeds. So you, from the beginning, you make a plan, you make an action plan involving the parents, involving the administration. If this student has to be tested for SPED, you do all the paperwork and make sure he's tested for SPED or whatever needs he has. Then you work with that student, you work tutoring. You really have to make sure that that student succeeds. Maybe he's not at grade level, but every student can demonstrate growth. And if you're taking a student from where they were to a higher level, that already is success and no needs for that student to be retained. Now, if you have done everything throughout the school year to help your student, if you have already met with parents, administration, have been aware of the situation throughout the entire school year, have done small groups with them, tutoring, anything, all means possible, and comes May, that student is still failing, you still don't have to retain them. They can even go to summer school, which is a better alternative. Maybe going an extra month of help might be beneficial to them. So send them to summer school. It's a lot better than just repeating the grade. State test, for example, in the state of Texas where I work, if a student was not able to pass the 5th grade state test, then they should have been retained. Now, when it comes to standardized testing, right before COVID, we had by law to retain a student if a student did not pass the 5th grade state exam in the state of Texas. And if they were given 3 chances, they would take the test first in April. And if they passed, wonderful, they were ready to recognized to be ready to move to the next middle school level. Or then they had a second chance at the end of May to get, if they didn't pass the first time, they could try it a second time. And if they passed good, they're ready to move on. And then if they didn't pass it the first 2 times, they would attend summer school. And then at the end of summer school in June, they would take it one more time. And then if they pass, they've passed with no problems. And if they fail, and they failed it 3 times, then you still, you were supposed to retain them. However, you could have a meeting with the parents, administration, and people involved with this child's education. And as a committee, you could decide to pass the student, even if they failed those 3 tests. And the last reason for retention, of course, is absenteeism. Maybe a student was sick for a prolonged period of time and therefore did not comply with the amount of days they should have been in school, they should be retained. However, nowadays we live in technological times, so a student gets sick, for example, with COVID or any other sickness, and they're able to do school from home via Zoom or Google Classroom, whatever, then they can catch up. There should be no reason. Also, some students leave the country. I had plenty of students who are here until November, then they move back to another country, go back to maybe Mexico, Dominican Republic, wherever their parents are coming from or taking them to. And they stay there for 2 or 3 months at a time, and then they come back to the school back in January or February. They miss a month. Also, these students who have been should be retained because of absenteeism could have been given the opportunity to attend school extra hours, maybe during summertime, to make up for the time, because many of them are super bright kids. It's just not their fault that they have been sick or they have been taken to another country for whatever reasons. Some of the consequences I've seen, and also there has been many studies of all the negative consequences throughout a student's life when they've been retained, including dropouts, including bullying problems, including behavior problems. It becomes very harsh on them mentally. Their self-esteem is low and so on. When they come to 5th grade and they have been retained before, for example, if a student was retained in 1st grade or 2nd grade, by the time they come to 5th grade, they are sometimes embarrassed because, number one, they're bigger in size than the other kids. Number two, their social skills are different. They're acting as a middle schooler when most 5th graders are still elementary kids and have little kids' interests. But especially, don't retain them. Just give them the opportunity, give them the help throughout the year and whatever they need, so that even if they are not at level, at least they have showed growth. All the students are gifted. Only some of them just open their gift first. So just because a student have not opened their gift first, it doesn't make them any less than anyone else. So please try not to retain them. In the end, if you have no other choice but to retain a child because it's out of your hands, then try for that child to be in a different classroom. If there's more than one 5th grade class, try for that child to be with another teacher, with another group of students, in another environment. If they fail with you, something you didn't do, I feel, again, as a teacher, I feel the failure if a student is retained. Well, there you have it. That's my opinion on retention in 5th grade. Tell me your opinion down in the comments. Do you have to retain? Do you disagree with me? And that's fine. Let's agree to disagree. I don't mind constructive criticism. If you want to leave it down in the comments, I will read it for sure. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more things about 5th grade. And I'll see you in my next video. See you soon.